How you feeling? Are you tired? Having trouble sleeping? Having trouble getting up in the morning? You're gonna love this video. I'm Dr. Patti Bartsch. I'm the owner and founder of Naturally Unbridled Wellness in Onalaska, Wisconsin, and I'm also a traditional naturopath. The information presented here is for educational purposes only and is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prescribe for any disease or condition. Please consult your preferred healthcare provider when making wellness choices. Thank you. Okay, let's talk about sleep. So first of all, sleep is a biological function and it is required for health. Years ago, I remember someone gave me a book and kind of turned me on to this life coach, business coach type person who was really encouraging people to get like 4 hours of sleep. And like, I was like, dude, you are driving people to adrenal fatigue, like with your recommendations. This is completely unhealthy. So just like breathing and pooping, sleep is a biological requirement for good health. So there are about 4 phases of sleep, and a lot of times people be tickling the top 2 levels, you could call them, of sleep, and they're not getting into the deeper levels of sleep where healing happens. When you get into the deepest levels of sleep, that's when your body produces human growth hormone that it uses for cellular repair. Also, when you get into the deeper levels of sleep and you get into dream states, that's actually when your subconscious is solving a lot of your problems and helping you to come up with solutions. This is why a lot of people have these aha moments when they get in the shower in the morning, because their subconscious has kind of solved their problems. While they were sleeping, they get into the shower and those solutions get revealed. But in our crazy, busy, high-impact, caffeinated society, what happens is we have a lot of people who are not getting enough sleep. Sometimes the people are truly exhausted, but they finally put their whole family to bed and it's their only opportunity for some alone time. And so they stay up later than they should, because it's the only time they get to indulge themselves in reading what they want to read or watching what they want to watch, and I get that. However, if you're not sleeping, you're not healing. So I want to talk about some of the most common things that I hear from people about what's impacting their sleep, aside from things like we got a new puppy, we have a little baby, we co-sleep. Like, I get that stuff, okay? But I want to talk about some natural sleep support and some lifestyle things that you can do to support sleep. So one thing is really to monitor and regulate the amount of caffeine or stimulants that you are taking in. And I can remember many years ago when I was finishing up my college degree, I was taking the last class that I needed for my teaching certificate, and it was 1 night a week, and it was 2.5 hours or so from where I was living at the time. And I would commute out to the university, I would stay with a friend, go to my class, and then the following morning, because the class went till like 10 o'clock at night or 9 o'clock at night or something, the following morning I would drive back and do my student teaching. And so in the morning, I would get a coffee. And at the time, I really wasn't drinking coffee, but I would get a coffee on those days. And I would just get what was like a large coffee in the morning. And without fail, I could not sleep that night because my body had not finished metabolizing all of that caffeine. So really being conscious of your caffeine intake, how early in the day you have it, and the volume of caffeine, whether it's from coffee or other drinks, etc. You want to really be conscious of that. So some of the things that you can do for natural sleep support, as far as lifestyle things, is one, it's something called sleep hygiene. And that's to have a system of getting your body ready to sleep at night. And part of that is definitely going to include turning down the visual stimulation, turning down the lights. When you have light coming into your optic nerves, it's telling your brain that it's daytime and don't secrete melatonin because it's still daytime. As it gets darker, your brain says, oh, it must be late in the day, there's not a lot of light, so it will start to produce melatonin, which is a hormone needed for sleep. So you may have heard that you can supplement with melatonin, and I'm actually a big fan of that, but I get some pushback from people who will say things like, well, I've heard if you supplement with melatonin, your body won't make any. And I'm like, if your body was making it, you wouldn't need to supplement with it. And so melatonin is a hormone that is associated with sleep. And just like insulin is a hormone related to blood sugar balance, you have other hormones, you would never say to a diabetic, don't take insulin, because if you do, your body's going to stop producing it. Right? Yes. The reality is there's a hormone that your body needs for good health. You're not making it, so supplementing it will help restore health. So I am a huge proponent of melatonin. There's also some amazing research about how melatonin has antioxidant properties. It's used actually in some cancer therapy protocols and for multiple other reasons. It is included in the virus that shall not be named protocols. And I think my consistent use of melatonin is one of the reasons why when I caught that bug back around Thanksgiving in 2021, I had a very mild case, and I attribute it in a lot of ways to this. So this is liposomal melatonin spray. It's one of our top sellers. We buy it by the case. Couple of things about melatonin. So people will tell me, I tried melatonin, I had really horrible dreams or nightmares. I'm like, okay, you tried crappy melatonin. Not all melatonin is created equal. Years ago, I went to visit my parents and I forgot my melatonin, and I asked my mom if she had any melatonin, and she didn't have my melatonin. She had some melatonin that she picked up at the vitamin shop or something. And I looked at the bottle, I was like, wow, 5 milligrams? And she said, is that a lot? And I said, yeah, that's a lot. And she said, well, I take 2. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, well, I'm taking 1. So I took 1. And an hour later, I got up and took another one because it was crappy melatonin. So now my mom takes this. And so this is a liposomal formulation. Liposomal is a specific way that certain nutrients, supplements, hormones, etc. are formulated so that they bypass the liver the first time through circulation. They are more bioavailable and they stay in the bloodstream longer. Now, I'll also tell you that I have tried several different liposomal melatonin formulas from different companies, and I always have gone back to this one. And so this is the one that I use and recommend. The standard dose is 5 sprays in the mouth at bedtime. It's always good if you can hold it under any liposomal formulation. If you can hold it under your tongue for 30 to 60 seconds, it'll actually start being absorbed there, and then swallow it. And this one tastes like orange creamsicles. So I typically recommend just leave it on the nightstand. You get in bed, 5 sprays, relax for a little bit, fall asleep. So liposomal melatonin spray is at the top of my list. Now, sometimes people will tell me like, oh, I took that sleep support you recommended, but I couldn't take it because I couldn't wake up the next day. And like, okay, you got to understand what's going on there. So again, when you get light on your retina in your eyes in the morning, that shuts down your melatonin receptors for sleep. So, the sleep hangover that people report, this is what I tell them, like, hang in there. It's going to be like 1 to 3 days of the sleep hangover. And what the sleep hangover actually is your body going, oh, that was amazing. Give me more of that. It's just trying to pay off some, what we call sleep debt. And so that sleep hangover, typically after just a few days of getting some really good, really deep restorative healing sleep, you wake up refreshed. So I usually encourage people, like, please just try to work through the sleep hangover. If you're having a sleep hangover, it's really a sign that you need more sleep and better sleep. And so the melatonin spray is clearly doing its job if you're waking up and your body's like, give me more, because that'll only last a few days. Another product that we really love around here is called Best Rest. And this has a little bit of melatonin in it as well, but it also has B vitamins. And then one of my favorite things, it has GABA. GABA is a neurotransmitter that goes to your brain. So people who have the busy mind that they can't shut off at night, the GABA can be a really great solution for that. This also has a bunch of herbs in here that are calming and quieting. So valerian, lemon balm, hops, passion flower, chamomile, and there's some L-theanine in here as well. We have a similar formula that's called Insomnitol that we're sold out of at the moment. We're waiting for our shipment to arrive. So I don't have a bottle to show you, but that is a very similar formula to the Best Rest formula. It's just the Insomnitol has a little bit more 5-HTP and the Best Rest has a little bit more GABA. So kind of depending on your neurotransmitter situation, either one of those can be really beneficial. That being said, if you are on a prescription for anxiety or depression, or if you take a sleep pill or something like that, a pharmaceutical, you should check with your pharmacist to see if it's contraindicated, because especially 5-HTP is contraindicated for a lot of those types of drugs. Finally, I just wanted to mention a couple of services that we have that can support sleep as well. So one is the PEMF, Pulsed Electromagnetic Field Therapy. And this is a service that we offer here. You come in, you lay on this specially constructed massage table that plugs into this device that's a PEMF machine, and that device generates a pulsed electromagnetic field. And so it pulses in a frequency between 1 hertz and 10 hertz. So we're not talking about the toxic type of EMF that you hear about. That's gigahertz, that's Wi-Fi, that's microwaves, that's X-rays. We're not talking about that 5G, all that stuff. We're talking about the healthy levels of frequency. And so your brain waves will synchronize with the energy field. So when we're in a world with all this gigahertz noise in our energy field, our brain waves tend to ramp up. And when they do that, we get into that high beta, stressed out, anxiety, fight or flight brainwave pattern. And the more we're exposed to this kind of EMF toxicity, the harder it is to bring those brainwaves back down into that healthy, balanced range. And so when we do the pulsed electromagnetic field therapy, even though we might be doing it because you have hip pain or back pain or digestive issues or something like that, your brain waves will synchronize with the pulses. And some of the pulses that we use are actually in the brainwave patterns that happen in sleep. So we can basically retrain your brain to find those delta brain waves and those really calm, quiet, balancing brain waves. One other service that we have that supports sleep naturally is called Brain Tap. And it's a really cool therapy or service that we have. There's this headset. It has earphones. The earphones have LED lights that hit acupuncture points in the ears. There's also binaural beats and isochronic tones, which is a whole other thing, but they're helping to do left-right brain balance. And there is a visor that you keep your eyes closed, but there are LED lights in the visor, and you keep your eyes closed, and those LED lights will flash at specific frequencies. And you'll see those a little bit through your eyelids, and those are helping to get your brainwaves into normal patterns and create new neural pathways and left-right brain balance. Additionally, in your ears, there's guided imagery, guided meditation, etc., where the person talking will walk you through different types of programs that they have. And there's a whole series of sleep programs as well as other things for like weight and goal setting and that sort of thing. But we have that Brain Tap that can support sleep as well. So summing up, sleep is a necessary biological function. You should be shutting down your lights and getting into your pattern of getting ready for bed. Really between 9 and 10 o'clock at night is the ideal time to be falling asleep. Don't get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and exercise. That is going to keep your body in fight or flight, because in nature, the only time you would get up in the middle of the night like that is if there was a predator coming. So don't do that. There are natural things for sleep support. Melatonin is one of my favorites. Melatonin is made from serotonin. Serotonin is mostly made in the gut, and anybody with a gut imbalance probably has a serotonin imbalance, and then therefore cannot make enough melatonin and they can't sleep, and sleep is necessary for healing. So you see where I'm going with all of that. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of education about the importance of sleep and some natural things that you can do to support sleep and get a healthy body. So thanks for listening. Peace out, peeps.